have a chance to get to the Super Bowl. So I like what Indianapolis is doing. I gave Indianapolis a solid. Well, I gave Indianapolis. I gave them a solid B plus. I gave Jacksonville a solid B plus as well. I think Jacksonville had a great draft this year. Uh, they got a defensive tackle out of Florida to play more to kind of stop the run. And Tavion Bryan, they got somebody because they had trouble playing the run last year. They could sack the hell out you, but they couldn't stop the run. So I like what they did. They got DJ Chalk this year. Ronnie Harrison, I thought that was big. I mean, you add more attitude to that defense. So I like where they're going right now. So the Jacksonville Jaguars had a heck of a draft. I gave the Rams a solid B in this draft. I'm going to hurry up, make the process go a little solid. I gave Miami a solid B. I like why they got Minka Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick is somebody to build around. I think Fitzpatrick is you can potentially see the future start to move forward. I mean, you look where Miami is at right now. They're still taking the F with Tannehill on the offensive side. They moved on from Ndamukong Suh and company, so now you got to find a new attitude. I think Minka Fitzpatrick going to be that rover guy and roaming around the field all day, every day. So I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen with Minka Fitzpatrick and the Miami Dolphins. So I gave them a solid B. I gave Minnesota a solid C plus. Really wasn't too impressed with Minnesota did. You know, Michael Hughes, that was the cornerback they went and got in the first round. I mean, it was solid. They went on. Just a solid draft. I gave him a C plus. I really don't have too much to say about that. I like when New England got Sony Michel in the first round, and they wound up getting his roommate Isaiah Wine, offensive guard, in the first round. Now, I want to say New England made some moves to get some more players in the draft. The trade, I gotta go back and look it up, from another team. I think from San Francisco, I believe. But all in all, I think New England had a decent draft this year. I mean, the biggest shocker, they drafted Danny Edling. I didn't expect that to happen. They drafted Danny Edling, and Edling got drafted before a few other people. I thought that was going to happen. So I found that kind of weird. The New Orleans Saints, I might have to come back to this. So I gave the Saints a solid C+. I think the reason why I gave them a C+, because they didn't draft the defensive lineman. They got a defensive end, but I thought they was going to get somebody to play more of the interior with the D-line. I was hoping they did that. They didn't get the tight end because they fell so late in the draft. They didn't have the picks in the second round to get what they needed. They didn't get no other linebacker play, really. I mean, they wound up getting the corner Carrion Moore. They wound up getting the running back by Boston Scott. It just fell so late for the Saints. It was just kind of hard, and they lost so much talent, but I think Traquan Smith was a big steal. Watched a little bit on him the other night. He's going to fit well with Michael Thomas and company. And Marcus Davenport, that's a big steal. I think he's going to work out fine. Just a raw talent. That's going to take some time. I'm going to come back and finish with the Saints when I'm finished with everybody else. So on that note, I gave the Giants a B. I thought it was kind of funny they still passed on Sam Darnold. I gave the Jets a B minus. Other than Sam Darnold, they really didn't get too much else in this draft. I gave Oakland a C. I think Oakland was just everywhere on the board with the picks they had. I gave Philadelphia a C. Kind of didn't have a lot of draft picks, but it kind of paid off. They won the Super Bowl this year. I gave Pittsburgh a B minus in this draft. I think they had a solid draft. They wound up going to get Mason Rudolph. I think that's big as a replacement, a future person to take Ben Roethlisberger's spot in this for years to come. I gave San Francisco an A minus. I thought that was solid, that they went and got some more pieces to put around the youth movement they already did last season under John Lynch. Gave Seattle a C. Didn't understand what they was doing too much. The best thing they did was draft Saquon Griffin to play with his brother. That's all they really did. Gave Tampa Bay a B. I like what they did with Vita Veda playing up front with Gerald McCoy. That's going to be hard to run the football against them boys. I gave Tennessee a B+. They got Rashad Evans to add more to the defensive spot. Didn't have a lot of pieces, but they did do right. And I gave Washington a B. They had a lot going on. Wound up getting Darius Geist and other people and company. All in all, it was a good draft. I told you I gave a lot of people B's in this draft. But let's go back to New Orleans. Let's talk about my team now. This is what I've been ready to talk about for the last hour. let's talk about the New Orleans Saints. Now, all my Saints fans out there, I know I got more Saints people that listen to me. Don't panic about the giving up the pick. Yes, I'm still concerned because the schedule is hard, but as long as they make the playoffs and they're in the back half of the draft like they were this past season, I'm not too concerned about losing the pick. It's more about, understand this, guys, it's more about second and third day when you find the majority of your talent on your team. Let's remember, Alvin Kamara is a day two guy. He's not a day one guy. So let's keep that in mind. You find the majority of your talent day two, day three. I trust the scout department of the Saints, because let's think about this. They wound up getting Rick Leonard. Rick Leonard played defensive end for Florida State for a little while before converting to offensive tackle. You see, the Saints made some moves that make a lot of sense for the future. And what I mean by that is the Saints went on ahead and looked at the active roster that they have, especially on their offensive line. You got Max Unger and Teron Austin. Now, Max Unger is getting a lot older, but he's still one of the solid centers in the game. I can't knock that. That's why you drafted Will Clapp. Will Clapp in the 7th round for the 27th pick. Makes a lot of sense, for the fact of the matter is, you get him, he can be somebody of a protege to be coming behind. He's a raw talent. He got a lot of time to develop and get better. He's not there where he needs to be at right now. So I think it's a perfect move to get Will Clapp to come in for a few seasons. I don't know how, I gotta go back and look at Max Unger's contract, but look at the contract, look what he has and everything right now. He might be the heir apparent to be the next center for the New Orleans Saints. So that was a future move. I like that. Then when you look at, like I said, Rick Leonard, he's a raw talent. They say he's a great run blocker, but he's not a great pass protector. So granted, if he's playing the left side of the line, because Teron Armstead can't stay healthy for nothing. So when you start looking at contracts possibly paying Teron Armstead, you have somebody behind him that's ready to get the ball moving. So you have to develop Rick Leonard to get him on the level that he needs to become to be the starting left tackle for the New Orleans Saints. It's a good move for the simple fact is you look at your two young studs on the offensive line between Anderson Pete and Ryan Ramczyk. Then you start adding more young talent. Your line going to be set for the next couple of, at least a solid 8-9 seasons worth playing with each other. As long as they stay healthy, stay under contract, you got something going. That was two great moves that I saw the Saints made in this draft. And that's a few futuristic moves coming down to contract issues in the next couple of seasons. So I was very satisfied with the offensive line. You can't never go wrong with trusting the process and the drafted offensive lineman. The other thing I wasn't surprised with when they drafted Boston Scott out of Louisiana Tech. The Saints took two Louisiana guys this year. They took LSU's Will Clapp and Louisiana Tech Boston Scott. I was very impressed with that for the simple fact of the matter is it makes a lot of sense. I watched his highlight film. He's very explosive. He hit the hole hard. He bounced off of people. He runs through the contact. He's small. You need a guy like this late in the season. And I'm telling y'all this for a reason why. There's a time in the season where the Saints got to play Pittsburgh, Carolina this season. It's going to be in December. You're going to be tired, worn out. Body's physically just worn. You think about what the Saints, when you think around Thanksgiving time, Atlanta, Dallas, then you have Carolina, then I don't know who else in the mix, but Pittsburgh and Carolina getting to close the year and possibly close the the regular calendar year as well. That's a lot. That's a freaking lot. That's a lot. So I to a degree, I specifically understand why you draft another running back, because to the end of the year, you kind of see them two between Ingram and Kamara kind of got worn down because they had to do so much. But you have a fresher leg guy to come in. If he can come in first year and produce maybe about 450 yards and 3 touchdowns, he done his job. And to be honest with you, it's another futuristic move. Mark Ingram's getting older. Sad to say he's a fan favorite, but let's look at some of the fan favorites that they had over the years. Pierre Thomas had to go. Reggie Bush had to leave. Darren Sproles was traded. It's all about a business. Boston Scott is possibly coming in to play value minutes for the Saints and also come in to play a role to be productive as a running back, to come in probably on just to keep the legs fresh in the three-man system. Something that you thought we was going to see last year with Adrian Peterson, but everybody started loading the box on AP, so it was almost a giveaway. This young man could do both ways just like everybody else. He could fit the system. So I'm very excited to see what they're going to do with Boston Scott coming out of Louisiana Tech. Not going to start day one. He might see some productive minutes day one, but I really think that was a great pick for later in the season, just for legs reason. Tired legs, dead legs. You're going to need that. Natrell Jameson, I like him. He's a safety. I saw he was a converted receiver, went to safety. Think he's going to have a big role, probably come play in a little bit in the secondary. You can't never get enough secondary guys. And Karen Moore, say he's more of a nickel corner. Probably play a little nickel for you. Ain't no telling what they're going to do. But I think they trust, once again, Saints fans, we have to trust the picks. We got to trust the process when it come down to drafting the right guys and drafting the right talent up front. We can't always go with the sexy picks. I think that's what, for over the years, I think that's what New Orleans messed up at sometimes. We went with the sexy picks and we got screwed. But now when you look at this past year's draft with Anzalone, Ryan Ramczyk, Lattimore, Kamara, Hendricks, all these other guys, how much of quality you trusted the process and you saw what you had to go get. So it was a good move by the New Orleans Saints. I want to love to see how these draft picks are going to play out. Also, the big news that happened this morning was that J.T. Barrett has decided to join the Saints training camp. So the Saints did not draft no Ohio State players the first time in a long time, but they did get Ohio State player to come in and play. It makes a lot of sense. He's a working development talent. I want to see him make this roster. Fight with Taysom Hill possibly for the third spot. I think Taysom Hill probably trying to go for that second spot instead of Tom Savage. But I would love to see what's going to happen with J.T. Barrett. I hope J.T. Barrett makes the roster, connecting back with his old teammate with Michael Thomas and company. So I want to see J.T. Barrett really come in and work. I mean, you never know. That might be the guy to take the spot years to come. So I want him to come in and work hard this offseason, going into rookie camp and going into training camp this year. So J.T. Barrett from Ohio State, champion. He know how to win. Got to see how he going to work as a pro this year. Let's go ahead and move on. We talked about the draft long enough. Let's talk about yesterday's Cleveland did advance to the second round of the playoffs. It's just, oh, God. 105-101 was the final score yesterday. LeBron James dropped 45 points. LeBron said he was willing to play the whole game to make sure his team got over to go to the second round. LeBron came out and said how tired he is right now, which to a degree I understand. The man should be pretty tired for what he's been doing. Let's talk about the first 7 games of this year's playoffs. He dropped 24 in a triple-double. Game 2, 46. Game 3, 28. Game 4, 32. Game 5, 44. Game 6, 22. Game 7, 45. And all in all, his playoff average right now in the playoffs is 34 points in the first round. 34 points he has scored in the first round this year. That's what he's averaging a game, 34 points per game. Now, to me, the second best player on the team, Kevin Love, you're going to like this one. K. Love, in the first 7 games of the playoffs, 9, 15, 19, 5, 11, 7, and 14. Kevin Love is averaging right now, after the first round, points per game, 11.4 points per game. I don't know about y'all. I guess I want to know y'all opinion. To say he getting paid a lot of mega money and you giving me 11.4 points per game, that's not enough. And I want people to understand something. This what we need to know right now. If Cleveland, if you telling me your second best player, now granted he's a rebounder as well, but your second best player only giving you 11.4 points a game in a series, and your best player is giving you 34 points per game, he's damn near killing himself. You really need that extra person at least give you a solid 19.5, 18.2. Not getting enough production from the supporting cast, and I think that's the part that's killing. And I could probably break down all of them, between J.R. Smith, Jordan Clarkson, Larry Nance. I could break down all their scoring average right now, but he's the second best player on this team, on this roster. There's no doubt about it. And he shouldn't be scoring no 11.4 points a game like he's a non-factor. I just don't understand. But Cleveland got a hard upside. They got to play Toronto next round. I think that's going to be pretty tough for them